Hey everyone, so let's think about something for a second. How on earth do you multiply two things that have direction, like, say, a push and a movement, and somehow get just a single number out of it? A number that actually means something important? Well, that's the big puzzle we're going to solve today. And the key is a really fundamental tool in physics called the scalar product, or as you probably know it, the dot product.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the basic, what is this thing? Then we'll dive into the formula and this really cool idea of projections. After that, we'll check out some of its key properties, learn a super handy way to calculate it with components, and then see where it pops up in real-world physics. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with a quick summary of the main rules.
All right, so let's start with that big question. How can we possibly take two things with direction, like a force vector and a displacement vector, multiply them, and end up with just a magnitude? Well, that is exactly the job of the scalar product.
And here's the formal definition. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Whenever you multiply two vectors and the result is a scalar quantity, just a number with a unit but with absolutely no direction attached, you've just performed a scalar product, which we also call the dot product.
This is the one thing you really gotta lock in. Vector times vector equals a scalar. We're taking two inputs that are all about direction and we're collapsing them into a single output that has no direction at all. It's this transformation that makes the dot product so powerful.
Okay, so let's peek behind the curtain and see the math that makes all this work. And you'll see it's actually way more intuitive and geometric than you might be thinking. It's not just a bunch of abstract numbers. And here it is, the main event, the formula for the dot product. A dot B is equal to the magnitude of A times the magnitude of B times the cosine of theta. And that theta is the angle times between the two vectors when you place them tail to tail. Simple as that.
So what's that cosine theta really doing in there? Well, think of it like this. It's a tool that helps us find the shadow of one vector onto another. In more formal terms, we call this its projection. It's a way of asking how much of one vector lies along the direction of the other.
And this makes it crystal clear. The dot product is really just the full length of vector A multiplied by the effective length of vector B times A's direction. That's all it is. It's a pure measurement of how much the two vectors align with each other.
All right, now that we have the formula down, let's play with it a bit. We're going to look at some special cases and key properties. And this is where you'll really start to see how useful and consistent this whole idea is.
Let's start with two really basic but important properties. First, it's commutative. That just means A dot B is the exact same thing as B dot A. The order you do it in doesn't matter one bit. Second, what if you dot a vector with itself? Well, the angle is 0 and the cosine of 0 is 1, so you just get its magnitude squared.
Okay, quick pop quiz for you. Let's imagine our two vectors are sitting at a perfect 90-degree angle to each other. They're perpendicular. What do you think our formula is going to spit out?
Well, the math gives us the answer right away. The cosine of 90 degrees is simply 0.
And this leads to probably the most important property of the dot product. If two vectors are perpendicular, their dot product is always 0. Think about it. One vector casts no shadow on the other. This becomes an incredibly useful test to see if two vectors are at a right angle, or what we call orthogonal.
So what about the other extremes? If the vectors are perfectly parallel, the angle is 0, cosine of 0 is 1, so we get the maximum possible positive value, just magnitude A times magnitude B. And if they're anti-parallel, pointing into opposite directions, the angle is 180, cosine is -1, and we get to maximum negative value, negative A times B.
So that formula is great and all, but what if we don't know the angle between the vectors? What if we're just given their coordinates, in their I, J, K component form? Well, it turns out there's a really easy way to handle that.
When you have vectors in component form, the dot product is a piece of cake. You just multiply the matching components together, x with x, y with y, z with z, and then you add those three numbers up. That's it. No angles, no cosines, it's that straightforward.
So why does that awesome shortcut work? It all comes back to the properties of the unit vectors, I hat, j hat, and k hat. Any unit vector dotted with itself is 1, right? Because they're parallel. But any unit vector dotted with a different one is 0 because they're perpendicular. So when you expand the whole multiplication, all those mixed terms just vanish, leaving you with that clean, simple formula. Now, let's tie all this math back to the real world because this isn't just some abstract exercise. The dot product is a cornerstone for describing some of the most fundamental ideas in physics.
And here are some of the big ones. Work is literally defined as the dot product of the force vector and the displacement vector. Power is the dot product of force and velocity. And things like electric flux are the dot product of the electric field and the area vector. This thing is everywhere.
Let's actually do a quick problem. Say we've got a force and a displacement. Step 1, and this is the most important part, is to find the angle between them. Here, one's at 80 degrees and the other is at 10, so the difference is 70 degrees. That's our theta. Now we just use our formula. W equals F times R times cosine of theta. We plug in our numbers, 5.5 newtons, 4.3 meters, and the cosine of 70, and we get our answer, about 8.1 Newton meters.
All right, that was a lot to cover, so let's zoom out and put together a little cheat sheet of the most important rules and ideas you should take away from all this.
Okay, here's what you need to burn into your brain. First, think of the dot product as the cosine product. Second, the result is always a scalar, never a vector. Third, that big one, perpendicular vectors give you a dot product of 0. And finally, for components, remember I dot I is 1, but I dot j is 0.
And if you forget everything else, just remember this one core concept. The dot product is, at its heart, a tool for measuring alignment. It's a number that tells you how much two vectors are on the same page, pointing in the same direction.
And this all leads to one final lingering question. We've mastered how to multiply vectors to get a scalar. But what if you actually need to multiply two vectors and get a new vector as the result? How would that even work? Well, that's a whole other adventure and a story for another time. Thanks for watching.